And not very far from 10 Janpath, there are political confabulations of an entirely other kind taking place, and they've been exploding all week long. It's the big mega cabinet reshuffle that has been in the air for a long time now. And now we can tell you here on India Today that it is happening. It's likely to take place on Thursday morning. Nail-biting suspense for all our Mantri hopefuls. The Modi Sarkar is all set for its widely expected cabinet reshuffle. New faces will be in. Some old faces could be cut to size or even shown the door. We will tell you more. But first, let's take a look at the top 5 developments. Rapidly developing story, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the latest of what we know in this story. Number 1, India Today has learned that the cabinet rejig will reportedly take place on Thursday morning, 10:30 a.m. Sources are telling us that the final names of the cabinet reshuffle will be announced on Thursday by the government. Anything you hear before that apparently is all going to be in the realm of speculation. BJP leaders who are likely to be inducted in the cabinet have been summoned to Delhi. Former Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal, Rajya Sabha MP Narayan Rane from Maharashtra and Apna Dal leader Anupriya Patel have reached Delhi already. They arrived on flights just earlier this afternoon. All the BJP cabinet probables are heading to Delhi as we speak, and they will reportedly meet with BJP chief JP Nadda starting tomorrow. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Thursday is when the announcements will be made. Nadda is currently in Himachal Pradesh and he will be heading back to Delhi by this evening. So tomorrow he's going to have a packed morning meeting with all these hopefuls. He'll also be meeting leaders who are going to be dropped from the cabinet or have portfolios taken away from them and redistributed. One person who has lost his ministry because he's been appointed as governor of Karnataka is Thawar Chand Gehlot. He's the social justice minister. He was very much part of the Modi cabinet. He's now been appointed governor of Karnataka. Gehlot, and this means, of course, that ministerial berth is now vacant. So it's a clear indication that the rejig is definitely going to happen, and one of the ministerial spots to fill is the one vacated by Thawar Chand Gehlot. This after the government ordered the major rejig of governors as well. So Thawar Chand Gehlot being named Karnataka's governor is one among 7 gubernatorial assignments that have been announced today. Now, sources have told India Today that its alliance partner in Bihar, the Janata Dal United, has demanded at least 4 MPs to be inducted into the Modi cabinet. Senior JDU leader RCP Singh is arriving in Delhi. Remember, the ruling party in Bihar has 16 Lok Sabha MPs, and they'd like some of their men to become mantris in Team Modi as well. But speculation has been at fever pitch. It's been rife over who's coming, who's going, kaun aa raha hai, kaun ja raha hai. Those are basically the questions that are being asked as far as this cabinet reshuffle is concerned. India Today has learned that the mega Modi cabinet reshuffle, like we said, is taking place Thursday morning. Several leaders have already been summoned to Delhi. Prominent among them, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Narayan Rane, Sarbananda Sonowal and Shantanu Thakur from Bengal. BJP Chief Nadda will be meeting all of them tomorrow after returning from Himachal Pradesh this evening. Like I said, approximately 20. These are the numbers now. Approximately 20 new faces are expected to be inducted into the new Council of Ministers, the cabinet. And several sitting ministers may actually be dropped. MPs from Bengal, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh are likely to be given strong priority, along with ally in Uttar Pradesh, the Apna Dal and the Nishad party. From Bihar, the JDU and LJP's Paras faction will get some representation almost definitely. According to sources, the cabinet rejig aims to correct regional representation ahead of assembly elections in 5 states, most importantly Uttar Pradesh, which is slated to take place next year. It's the battle of all battles, electorally speaking. Uttar Pradesh goes to the polls in 2022, February, March. The dates are not yet decided, but all eyes will be on that. And the decisions being taken in this cabinet reshuffle definitely have strings attached to what's going on in UP. It also aims at conducting a kind of mid-course correction for Team Modi to shape up administrative governance. It's like a report card where laggards will be cut to size and those who have been showing promise from the outside and inside are given more ministerial opportunities.
यहाँ से मैं जा रहा हूँ कई जगह श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करने के लिए, फिर बीजेपी कार्यालय भी मैं जा रहा हूँ, 2-3 लोगों के यहाँ भी जा रहा हूँ और ऐसा ही विस्तृत दौरा।
मैं एमपी हूँ तो दिल्ली आना ही पड़ता है। अभी सेशन के पहले हम लोग आ जाते हैं इधर।
सर 15 दिन पहले।
हाँ,
आज कोई विशेष कारण आने का, आज कोई विशेष
अरे विशेष देखिए एक बात देखो, विशेष कुछ होगा तो जरूर बताएंगे। आपको कोई छुपा सकते हैं क्या?
नहीं, किसी फॉर्मूले के बारे में तो कोई जानकारी नहीं है, लेकिन इसके बारे में जो हमने हम लोगों के पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं, उन्हीं को इन सब चीज़ों के लिए अधिकार है। जो कुछ भी अधिकृत वही है, बातचीत करके जो कुछ भी होना है उसी के हिसाब से होगा। इसमें माननीय आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी चाहेंगे, उसी के हिसाब से जो भी होना होगा होगा।
ना इसमें मैं तय करने वाला हूं, ना आपको इन्फॉर्म करने वाला हूं। जो उचित लोग हैं वही इस पे आपको कोई जानकारी दे पाएंगे।
I want to go across to our National Affairs editor, Rahul Srivastava, for more. Rahul, so much speculation. I can imagine the sleepless nights that are taking place at this time. But, apart from the speculation, everything that you and our reporters have brought to, into the system are all being represented on screen right now, Rahul. Our viewers are looking at all that information. I want to ask you something else. Do the ministers, Rahul, already know what they're going to get? Or is it really, really tightly bound? And is it literally, like all of us perceive, that they're just waiting for their phones to ring? How does it work?
Shiv, before I answer your question, you said that very close to 10 Janpath, there is a move for cabinet reshuffle. Let me inform you, it's very interesting that the exit gate of 10 Janpath is bang opposite the 7B Motilal Nehru Marg residence of JP Nadda. So
I
when
didn't know that.
Namrata Singh gets
Amazing.
out, he might actually be looking at some BJP carrying out maneuvers for the future. Now, Shiv, it's a very interesting question. See, there are certain ministers who can be called as the non-performers. And say, for example, Mr. Gehlot, Thawarchand Gehlot. See, interestingly, he was not just the minister in the Council of Ministers, but also the leader of the Rajya Sabha. And that, in fact, gave the first clearest indication, though we broke the story of a cabinet reshuffle taking place this week on Friday. But when he was appointed as governor, we knew now it's happening because the parliament, the other bit was that the shuffle may happen after the session. But once the leader of the house has gone as governor, it has to happen before the session. Now, there are some people who the Prime Minister, over the last 1 month, of what is called a review of performances or a sectoral review, has identified which are the sectors which need a new push, which need that those people who are handling their affairs need to be sent out. So that exercise was carried out. So they knew that they are going to lose it. Then there are certain senior members in the government who the Prime Minister and JP Nadda has been speaking to. So they must be knowing that eventually what's in store for them. But obviously they will not talk in public about it. Then there are some ministers like Piyush Goyal, Dharmendra Pradhan, Mr. Hardeep Puri, Ravi Shankar Prasad, who have got more than 2-3 disparate portfolios with them, who they either inherited because, say, for example, Ramvilas Paswan passed away. For example, Anand Gite and Mr. Arvind Sawant of Shiv Sena went away, so industries went to somebody.
Yes.
So that kind of shuffle. So those ministers are still waiting. I know it. Which ministry are they going to lose? I have talked to a few of them. Right now, they don't know which one they're going to get. Then comes the newcomers. Shiv, they have no idea. They have absolutely no idea. That's entirely Prime Minister prerogative. And I think, like last time in 2019, they will come to know after they have taken oath that they will know which portfolio they are going to get.
Incredible, sort of image of how this decision and how these decisions are being taken and how and when they're actually going to be conveyed. I mean, the nuts and bolts of this entire process, in my view, is even more fascinating perhaps than the announcements that are finally made. I can't even imagine that many of these people will be getting any sleep between now and Thursday morning. But that's the way it rolls. And you also heard Rahul tell us, many people would not have known that the exit gate of 10 Janpath leads into the front gate of JP Nadda, the BJP president, the man who will be meeting many of these hopefuls after he arrives back from Himachal tomorrow. Rahul, stay with me. I'm going to ask you one more question after I tell our viewers about the leaders who've been summoned to Delhi right now, the ones Rahul was telling us about. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the prominent ones. He's a BJP leader from Madhya Pradesh, widely, expected to have been inducted into the Council of Ministers by now. Narayan Rane, BJP leader, from Maharashtra, controversial figure. He's also one of the hopefuls. Sarbananda Sonowal, ex-Assam Chief Minister, the man replaced by Himanta Biswa Sarma in the BJP's second term in Assam, also landed at the Indira Gandhi Airport a short while ago. Shantanu Thakur, BJP MP from West Bengal. Anupriya Patel from the Apna Dal from Uttar Pradesh, factoring in some of the caste equations and dynamics and allies before the big Uttar Pradesh election. India Today has some of the best, most accurate inside details of a story that otherwise is largely in the realm of speculation. The cabinet reshuffle, like Rahul said, at the end of the day, there are just a handful of people who know what's happening, and certainly not the people who are impacted by these decisions. Sources have told India Today that over 20 changes are likely in this Council of Ministers. 3 ministers are under the lens over performance issues. They could be cut to size. The burden of ministers with many portfolios could be reduced. They could be pruned. So any minister who has 2 or 3 portfolios might lose 1 or 2 of them. Polls in the next 5 states in the next 6 months are definitely going to be factored in. Inductions are likely from Uttarakhand, Haryana and Karnataka. BJP leaders from Bengal may also find a place. So there's a lot of balancing taking place in this particular reshuffle. Rahul, is it possible to say that this reshuffle is intended for one purpose, or is it, as is usually the case in politics, a combination of things? Is this about accommodating allies, re-energizing the cabinet for administrating governance, or is it, mostly about the upcoming elections that are taking place in the major states?
Shiv, it's all of that and a lot more. If you look at, if I analyze, I've been at it for the last now almost 1 month in terms of hunting who the probables are, and every case is virtually a story. Why I say that? One, there is going to be, see, this is the difference between Congress and the BJP. In Congress, status quo is protected. Whereas in BJP, if there is a status quo or there is stagnation, the BJP changes under Narendra Modi. And that is perhaps where the Prime Minister realized that the second surge of COVID-19 has dented the image of the government. The administrative system needs new legs, new minds, and new teeth. And that's what this exercise is about. The Prime Minister knows that in the past, there have been allies like Shiv Sena, Akalis, TDP and others who have left. Alliances are important. And that is why LJP and JDU being honored and being brought in. Then you've got people who have too many ministries. Then you have regional elections coming. For example, Uttar Pradesh. So this will depict BJP's interest or pressure points in Uttar Pradesh. Karnataka, you know how Karnataka is simmering now. Now they need some Lingayat leaders to be given a signal. So there is a possibility of Lingayat leaders coming from there. In Maharashtra, for example, very importantly, the BJP now has almost decided it could well be 3 versus them in the next election.
Right.
And that's why Narayan Rane brought into Delhi. Small anecdote, that Mr. Narayan Rane was not a BJP man. In Prithviraj Chavan's government, he was the man who drafted the report on Maratha reservation. So now if Maratha reservation is the flavor of politics in Maharashtra, he's being brought to Delhi. So that's what I say, that every story has, every person has a story. Mr. Avinash Vaishnav is likely to come as from Odisha, Rajya Sabha MP, coming to the government. Now, he was a man in the PMO of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He brings bureaucratic experience. So that's why almost every case is bringing different expertise to this new Council of Ministers likely.
Very, very interesting. Each and every hopeful, each and every person whose name you're hearing from Rahul and our graphics, has a separate story, a separate string attached, a separate compulsion, a separate set of decision making that's being taken to either accommodate or not accommodate the said person. It's really many, many strings that are being pulled at the same time. Incredible, incredible dance of politics, as it were, that we're seeing play out live here in the country. Rahul, thank you very much for that. I'm going to let you go because I know you're going to be on call. There are many people landing in the national capital right now. So we'll let you go for the moment, Rahul. Thank you very much for being with me. Here are the states that are in focus in this new cabinet rejig. Rahul mentioned some of that. Uttar Pradesh, the big state that goes to the elections in just 6 months from now, early next year, is the state in focus. Maharashtra as well has a lot of political quakes taking place there. Madhya Pradesh is a state. Jyotiraditya Scindia is one of the big prominent hopefuls from there. In Bihar, the big ally of the BJP, the JDU, is expected to be accommodated. And in West Bengal, after that big election, people who have performed well are likely to see them stepping up, politically speaking, into the Modi Council. The big caveat and disclaimer, as always, is that these are decisions that will be taken and announced only on Thursday morning. I want to go across to India Today's Ashutosh Mishra, joining us live from the national capital, the Indira Gandhi International Airport, as a matter of fact. Ashu, the airport that's bringing in all the hopefuls, these are going to be sleepless nights for all of these people. I wonder, because Rahul Srivastav, who was with us, says none of these people are sure whether they're getting something or not. मतलब बस फोन आ गया है, वो आ गए हैं दिल्ली, but nobody knows for sure until Thursday कि कुछ होने वाला है कि नहीं.
Well, Shiv, you were mentioning about Karnataka. So just a minute ago, Karnataka Chitradurga member of parliament from the BJP, A. Narayan Swamy, just landed, and I asked him, did you also get any call? He said, I heard from media that there will be some MPs inducted in the cabinet from Karnataka. I am here for the parliamentary committee meeting. Before that, I saw Sarbananda Sonowal, the former Assam chief minister, he arrived. Narayan Swamy landed, Narayan Rane, the Maharashtra MP, he also landed. But all are completely tight-lipped. No one is ready to say anything. And very interestingly, since this VIP gate at Terminal 3 this morning, the number of MPs landed from the BJP, since most of them are wearing masks, many could not be even recognized. But anyone is landing, being asked, have you got any call? Are you getting any cabinet merger? Clearly, of course, they're not speaking anything. But this is literally a lot of things happening completely, kind of situation that you see right behind me, number of cameras waiting for any MP that is landing here. We are anticipating this could be one of the phases will be seen in the Union Cabinet in the next rejig. Shiv.
Ashu, thanks very much for that. Exciting times for all the inbound VIPs at Indira Gandhi International Airport. They're wondering whether their political careers are going to go from being mere elected representatives, and I of course mean that relatively, and into a big prestigious Central Council of Ministers. Big step for all of these politicians. Some of them are quite young. It's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out. Ashu continues to keep a hawk's eye for all of those big VIPs coming into Delhi at this time. A big factor is this upcoming reshuffle, like I constantly say because it's so important, are the upcoming assembly polls that are slated for early next year. The most important among them is, you've guessed it, Uttar Pradesh, the biggest state. Sources have told India Today that with this reshuffle, the Prime Minister will be trying to correct regional representation. Anupriya Patel from the Apna Dal, who became a member of parliament in 2019, is almost certain to get some kind of ministerial berth. The Nishad Party representative is also likely to get a ministerial berth. Prominent Brahmin and Dalit leaders may also be adjusted and accommodated in the Council of Ministers. There is even speculation that UP's BJP president, Swatendra Dev Singh, may be brought to Delhi, but there are those who strike a note of caution saying, is it possible for the BJP to think it wise to move out their state president from Lucknow to Delhi just months before the elections take place? So that's something to actually think about. The big UP link. Take a look at this report.
It's the mother of all state elections. The battle for Uttar Pradesh, and it kicks off just 6 months from now. The big tremors have already begun. the warriors began to lay out their battle plans. And you'd better believe that the centre has its gaze fixed on UP's state of war too. The impending reshuffle of Modi's Council of Ministers is certain to have a strong UP flavour. With the balancing of caste equations in mind, sources say that the reshuffle is expected to send out a political signal by correcting regional representation, especially in Uttar Pradesh. There is speculation that the BJP may send one minister from UP back to state politics and make place to induct UP BJP President Swatantra Dev Singh in the centre. But sources strike a note of caution, pointing out that this would mean getting a new BJP state president just months before the election. After super successful poll performances in Uttar Pradesh in the 2017 Assembly polls and 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the Yogi Adityanath administration has sustained a fair amount of caste-driven damage, something the Prime Minister would like to correct on a war footing going into the polls. The BJP's internal reading is that groups including OBCs, MBCs and Dalits are in urgent need of a signal from the BJP. And that's where the following likely movement springs up. Prominent OBC player and Apna Dal Supremo Anupriya Patel, who has been sidelined since 2019, is likely to find herself as a newly minted union minister this week. A leader from the Nishad party could also be accommodated. The possibility of a leader representing the dominant Brahmin community and a Dalit leader could also find a place in the reshuffled cabinet. It's the battle that will define 2022, and the big wheels have begun to turn. With Himanshu Mishra and Rahul Srivastava in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.